You've said something that I think really resonates with me and a number of individuals about how Donald Trump has played the media throughout the course of this process, and I'm guilty to some extent as well. I'll raise my hand in being so. But it's amazing to see how he is able to deflect from being the front runner, where we've traditionally seen the front runner take a tremendous amount of scrutiny, and he's just been allowed to stay on offense. If he decides that Ted Cruz's birthright citizenship is going to be an issue, that's going to be what's going to be discussed in a debate or over a course of a couple of news cycles, maybe even 3 or 4 days. And for the previous week, he was going to focus on the Clintons. Is that concerning to you that that the media has lavished this amount of not just free airtime and earned media, but have been essentially, directed by Trump to do his work?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It is what it is. I've learned long ago to worry about the things I can control. But there's a double standard. He's treated differently than other candidates. His record in business hasn't been scrutinized to the extent that it ultimately will in a general election. His views on all sorts of policies are not conservative, and that hasn't gotten the scrutiny. The idea that now he denies, he said that he advocates a 45% tariff on China is just, nonsense, because he did it in the New York Times. They have witnesses, they have an audio tape. The things he's proposed are not conservative, and they're quite dangerous for the economic security of our country. And his foreign policy views mirror more those of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama in some ways. So if he was held to the same standards as the other candidates were, there'd be more lively discussion about that. But I feel like it's my duty to share what my views are and to compare those with Trump, so people know at least that he's not a proven conservative. He's a dynamic character. He's all the things that people know he is. He's entertaining. He's smart. He's all those things. But he's not a conservative, and he has no proven record to move our country forward.
And I think the big thing also is that we don't know. I mean, we can try to determine what he's going to do, but we don't really know. We don't know what the cabinet's going to look like. We don't know what who he's going to have around him, and we really don't know what he's going to do in terms of policy either. You may disagree with what Hillary Clinton's going to do in terms of policy, but it's pretty much all laid out there. I know what Jeb Bush is going to do in terms of policy, and I know what John Kasich's going to do, Marco Rubio is going to do. But there's not there's really so much that's up in the air right now that's concerning to me about exactly the direction that that Trump is going to take us.
Well, Chris, past his prologue in some ways, and I'll give you one example of what I did and what he did. When he had a casino before it went bankrupt in Atlantic City, he tried to use eminent domain powers to take a house from an elderly woman. He went to a quasi-government authority. They began the process of taking that person's property so that he could pave it and turn it into a limousine parking lot for his casino.
Mm-hmm.
She won that. An elderly woman beat her. Trump lost. But he continues to advocate the fact that he should use government powers for private purpose. And that would be a disaster in our country. The Kelo decision was the wrong decision. So in Florida, when this stuff came up, we went to the legislature and passed a law that said that you can't do that. You cannot use eminent domain powers for private purposes. And then we went to the Constitution, had a constitutional amendment just to make sure that there could be no changes. And it passed with 70% of the vote. That's the kind of leadership we need, is to respect the Constitution, respect conservative principles, not use the police powers of government to benefit a handful of people or one person. That's not being a conservative. People in New Hampshire probably don't know that, and if they did, they'd be appalled. That's the kind of attitude he has.